most of them out here, showing off Drazhoath's first battle in the Immortal Empires campaign. I'm not allowed to show any footage from the campaign map yet, so I thought showing you a battle from my campaign is the next best thing. These first battles are designed to be easy, even on Legendary very hard, but I always like to try to do that first battle perfectly, so that you don't lose any soldiers, or you lose only a few so that you can completely heal them with your post-battle replenishment. The Kidai Fireborn are basically going to be our mobility unit. They're the fastest unit we've got. They're not cavalry speed, but 54 is still reasonably fast. They do magical and fire damage, armor piercing, anti-infantry. They've got some armor, a moderate amount of health. I mean, they've got high health per entity. They're a monstrous entity. They're a monstrous infantry unit, but they're not probably super tanky. They're more of an offensive unit than a defensive unit. You've got 10% physical resistance. They do suffer from banished, and they crumble like as demonic units. But they've got a special ability, Burning Bright, which makes them unbreakable as long as they're over 50% health. So basically, as long as you look after them and they don't take too much damage, then they'll be fine. But once they get below 50% health, then their leadership can drop. They can crumble quite fast and take a lot of damage. They also have this blazing body, which gives them melee damage reflection and physical resistance the longer that they stay in melee. They also have Siege Attacker, which isn't going to come into in this battle, and Hellforge, which means they can be healed by Demon Smith's Reforge ability. Again, we don't have Reforge in this battle, so that's not really going to come into it. Our Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, this is like the iconic unit of the Chaos Dwarves. High damage, armor piercing missiles, quite short range. The Chaos Dwarfs themselves have pretty good melee stats, decent armor, and 55% so silver shields. So pretty good in shootouts with other ranged units. Infernal Guard Fireglaves. They don't have the shields, but they've got higher armor. They've got a bit longer range, 145. These are basically your long range units for the infantry for the Chaos Dwarfs. Armor piercing, again, all the Chaos Dwarves have this Contempt ability, which means that they don't care about other non-Chaos Dwarf units that rout. They only get a leadership penalty if other Contempt units, other Chaos Dwarfs rout. Also, notably, they've got armor piercing missiles and armor piercing melee attacks and anti-large. So they're basically like a halberd unit that then their halberds are guns that shoot as well. So they're pretty cool. Then we've got the Orc Laborers, which are like your armor-piercing offensive slaves. They're slave type units, so they've got really weak stats, but there's a lot of them. 140 entities in a unit, and they got 10.6k health. The Goblin Laborers are the sort of more defensive of the two slave units. They've got 180 entities, 9k health, so still a lot of bodies on the field. Really bad stats, but they're slightly more defensive than the Orcs, which are slightly more offensive, and the Orcs are armor piercing. They both the greenskin units, the Orc Laborers and the Goblin Laborers, have this malign authority ability. Basically means if they're nearby to a Chaos Dwarf unit, then they get a leadership bonus. Infernal Castle hero is kind of like the Dwarf Engineer. He's got a long range, armor piercing missile attack. He's also got armor piercing melee attack, moderate melee stats, not particularly high health, and high armor. He's got Contempt. And he's got this dig in ability. Basically gives him increased range and missile resistance, and basically means he entrenches and can't move, but he gets those bonuses. But yeah, he's like an evil version of the Engineer, essentially. Drazhoath the Ashen, he's got a Burning Wrath spell. It's basically a fireball that also does a small vortex that's going to appear after the fireball lands. Dark Subjugation, -8 leadership, -24 melee defense, debuff that he can cast at quite long range, so you can kind of use that to enhance any melee engagements that your units get into. Drazhoath himself has got 125 armor, decent melee defense, and anti-infantry melee attacks. What else did I say about him? He's got aura +8 aura, melee attack aura, He's got Contempt like all the Chaos Dwarves. Yeah, Siege Attacker, Fire Resistance. That's none of that stuff's going to come into this battle too much. So as far as the enemies go, they've got 2 units of Goblin Wolf Riders, which are fast, but don't have particularly great melee stats or leadership. We've got 2 units of boys. Again, they're sort of low tier infantry. Normally they don't have that high leadership, but because we're on very hard difficulty, they've got +8. Got some arrow boys, not particularly strong ranged attackers, but they're okay in melee. They've got the Orc Lord, which we basically don't want him to get anywhere near any of our units because he does armor piercing damage with quite decent melee attack. And yeah, basically he's not that durable, but he's going to do a lot of damage if he gets into melee with anyone. But the big problem really is these Black Orcs. They're heavily armored, high leadership, they do armor piercing damage, they've got good melee stats, charge bonus. So basically they're going to be kind of hard to get rid of, and they do a lot of damage. So, you know, that's going to be a problem that, I mean, it's not going to be a problem to deal with them. It's going to be a problem to deal with them without taking a lot of damage in return. So how are we going to deal with this? I think the first order of business is to try to draw out their Wolf Riders. If we can get them to outpace the rest of their army and eliminate them first, that kind of gets rid of their extreme mobility advantage that they've got right now. And then maybe we can just try to we can sort of, you know, try quieting and focusing and using all the tools we have to try to take out the rest of the stuff without hopefully taking too much damage ourselves. So if we have to sacrifice something, I want it to be some of these goblin slaves, I'd say. They are the more defensive of the 2 slave units, labor units, sorry, I should say. With these orc ones being the kind of offensive ones, although none of them are particularly good at defensive or being offensive. So we can get damage out of the Castellan. It looks like we might be able to... No, this one. We're trying to get some damage on this one first. The Kidai Fireborn, even though they're not super tanky, they have got a high amount of health per entity. Like each one of these guys got about 500 hit points. So potentially we can take a little bit of damage on them without losing any entities, or without, you know, we're losing very little entities. So we get Draz to kind of try to tank them a little bit. Okay, now we're taking shots from their range, so that's not great. Try to back a little bit. Now try and get our Kidai Fireborn in here. Oh no, oops, I sent Draz way in there, I didn't mean to do that. We'll debuff their melee defense so that those Fireborn smash them. We might have to sacrifice some of our gobos to get in here and alright, let's try to see if we can shoot their lord. We need to... Oh, that's some good damage. No, I didn't make it before they got into our lines though. Alright, if this Kidai Fireborn can get into the range there. Alright, I'm trying to tank with these gobos, but... Yes, okay, it's worked, it's worked. The gobos have engaged. We'll drop this bomb on these guys. Oh, reduce that melee in. Okay, there's some... Oh, he took some hits on the gobos, but oh well. Alright, see if we can get some shots into this. Alright, here we go. Fire. Oh yeah. Oh man, he got wrecked. Okay, that was pretty good. Alright, Kidai Fireborn are doing their thing. Where's our Castellan? Shoot that. Yeah, there's Black Orcs are melting. That's good. Done. Alright. yes, beautiful. So we didn't lose any of our Chaos Dwarfs. 80, still full. We lost a tiny bit of health off our Castellan. And yeah, basically no casualties. 16 Fireborns still remaining. We lost quite a few of our Goblin Labourers, but hey, they don't really count, do they? Just have to make sure we don't accidentally shoot our own units to just keep our fire concentrated on those Black Orcs. We can can't show you the after battle, but you know, the more of these guys that we kill, then the more replenishment potentially we can get on the post battle screen, and Black Orcs with a bit of experience as well. Sorry, I can't show you any of the actual campaign play yet, but hopefully that gives you a little taste of the start of the Drazhoath campaign. I've achieved my perfect victory in my mind anyway. I'll be happy to go on and continue that campaign. I'll be doing a live stream tonight at 3 p.m. BST, showing some more battle gameplay, custom battles, doom stacks, a bit of multiplayer, that kind of thing. And then next week on the 5th of April, we'll be able to start showing some actual campaign play.